The last portion to this website is the request a quote form. We want to create the form that when filled out, it gets mailed to us. We're going to learn a new function with this, and that is the mail function. That is the final thing that we will do with this page. The very first thing that we must do is create the form. I actually have the form here as an include. The reason I have it as an include is to keep the page code as short as I can. If we were to put the actual form in the page, we'd end up with a lot of code. I like to shorten and neaten the code as much as I possibly can. As you can see in our form here, we have several items that require error checking, that are required fields. We're going to do that as well as part of this form. So, on the quote request form, first thing we have to do is create our switch statement. I'm going to use my action variable in the get superglobal, which is pretty much standard. Use the action all the time. In this case, we're only going to actually have two cases, the default, which is to display the form, and the check case, which is to check the form and take action of that. So what I'll do here is the default, and simply have to include the quote form. Under the check case, the first thing we are going to do is check to see that the various required variables are evident. There are many different ways to do this. The way I prefer to do it is using the string length function. I've pre-done up my if statement here. The strlen function, which is string length, checks and returns the length of a string. What we're going to do with the error checking is check to see that the length of the required variables are greater than 0, meaning that there are some actual values entered in by the customer. We're going to do this check within this if statement. So if all the fields here that are required have some selection or some text in them, then we'll go ahead and email us the notice. If not, then we'll display an error and ask them to try again. So let's deal with the error part first. That is the else part of this statement. If we get here, it means they have not completed at least one of the required fields. So what we do is place an error message here. And then we'll display the form to them again. So let's save that and go ahead and test it. So what I'll do is just enter in nothing. Whoops. Make sure that we've got this posting to the right page. Try that again. And there we go. We get our error message. And our error message is all in red because I didn't close my font tag and my bold tags. Okay, so let's fill out a little bit of information and forget to fill out some other information. And again, there we go, an error field. Now you can see here that if I miss a field, not fill anything out in it, sure enough I get the error and the form again. But the form is blank. That means that the customer needs to fill it out all over again. It's not very user friendly. So we really should adjust this form to be a bit more friendly to our potential customer.